Android versus iOS. Clearly, so I want to start off by saying that there is really no winner versus iOS and Android OS at all whatsoever. Both are respectively good in their own nature, and both are built for different types of people and different kinds of people. So people who favor certain things will use iOS, and people who favor certain things will use Android. And there's nothing else up for discussion between the two of them, to be honest with you. There's a lot of fighting and bickering back and forth about which one is better, what operating system is better, or what phone is better, really, that's running that particular operating system. And it's not really the case about finding, one that just suits everybody. If one was clearly better, and I mean like the one-stop shop all for everyone, then there would be no competition on the market. There would be no other devices or other operating systems to compete against it, because who's going to buy it if this one particular one is the best? So when we talk about these things, we have to really think a little bit more rational. Like, okay, this iOS, you love it, right? You think the world of it, but the next person sitting beside you may not think the same thing about it. It may not work the way they wanted to work. It may not look the way they wanted to look. It may not function the way they wanted to function. And it's just something that you, as a person, have to just really kind of live with that. You have to understand that different needs and different use cases is for different people. We all don't like the same things. I love pizza. My fiance loves pizza. She likes spinach on hers. I like pepperoni on mine. Spinach is freaking nasty on pizza. But that don't mean that her spinach pizza is the best pizza or my pepperoni pizza is the best. Actually, I like meat lovers, to be honest with you. But still, that's probably not the best example. But you get what I'm trying to get at with it. Like, seriously, when it comes to iOS and it comes to Android, there's always this ongoing battle between two people, the person who loves Android and the person who loves iOS. And it's like, this is better, my phone is better, my phone does this, does that. To be honest with you, I prefer to have whatever features that one device has and the other one has, but at the same time, I do want them to stand apart from each other. I don't want to go buy an Android phone that feels and looks and operates like an iPhone. And I don't want to go buy an iPhone that feels and looks and operates like an iPhone. Did I say that correct? Well, I meant to say Android. I think I got it twisted, but you get my point, right? I don't want to see a iPhone being an Android, and I don't want to say Android being an iPhone. I want them to remain separate, but certain things I do want them to share. Stuff like certain types of hardware, like camera zooms, 120 hertz refresh rates. I want mute switches. I want I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head right now, but it's common things that I do want them to share, because they are a smartphone and these things do make our lives easy when we do have these things. But as far as where the differences lie in as far as operating system and animations, I hear it so much that people talk about iOS animations versus Android animations, and when they say Android, they kind of referring to like every Android phone pretty much and as a whole, which is crazy to me. But you can't expect to have like the same animations iOS have, which is a whole different operating system that Android has, and Android can't expect to have iOS animations, vice versa, whatever. I think I just said it twice. But for instance, here's a good example. I love the gestures on Android, right? And that's not because that I use a Android phone. Let me tell you why. It's one reason. The gestures on an iPhone and on my just say my Pixel or any other Android phone that I use as a flagship, they're pretty much almost no difference. My brain, when I'm picking up my iPhone and I'm picking up my Pixel or Samsung or whatever, I'm using those gestures and they're almost literally on equal ground. Besides the back gesture, iOS has a back gesture where you swipe from the top to go back, or some apps you can swipe to go back from this side over here from the side of the app, and that's That's their gesture, right? Well, on Android, you can swipe from this side of the phone, this side of the phone, no matter what side of the phone. And I find that right there to be a lot easier for my brain to comprehend that. Sometimes I pick up my iPhone and I'm swiping from the corner. Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. Something like that, I wish that both kind of shared. It's just something simple, but if you are a person who's strictly use iOS, what I'm saying is irrelevant to you. It means nothing to you. But being a person, and there's a lot of us out there, a lot of my homeboys that I talk to on Twitter, a lot of my friends that I do talk to in real life as well. I say real life like they're fake. In person, we use Android and iOS. So when we're picking up our iPads, our Galaxy tablets, or Android tablets in general, and our iPhone and our Android phone, we get confused sometimes between the two. Not saying like we confuse, like we don't know what we're doing, but sometimes habits from one it translates over to the next one, and then we find ourselves doing something. So now in our brains, we're like, oh man, I wish we had this. I wish we had this on both, and that's fine to want those things or whatever like that. But I definitely don't want like iOS to become Android and Android to become iOS. Them getting customizations, I definitely want that to happen on iOS for sure. Customizations, the more they get, the better that it would make me feel like I own the phone. Like I can do what I want with the phone versus me, having my phone and it's looking like everybody else's phone. Granted, the most I see people do is folders and move icons to another home screen or keep a blank screen and stuff like that. Then you got those other ones who go beyond on iOS and start using the invisible widgets and stuff like that. But I've done that. And every time I had to change my wallpaper, I had to go through that process over and over and over. And I got annoyed with it. So I decided to, I'm so sorry, guys. Let me go ahead and mute that. I got annoyed with the process. So I started to just stop and I just went back to the whole grid of icons on the home screen because I really don't like a bunch of photos on my screen either. So it, people preferences are so different. When you're an iPhone person, no matter what Apple does, sometimes you're just going to accept it and be okay, because this is all you're used to and you're fine with that. And that's great. And then when you're an Android person, it's almost like the same thing. You're used to all the customizations and all these things that Android can do. And then you get an iPhone and they're like, and then when you get an iPhone, if you have an iPhone, then you get an Android, you're like, it ain't this smooth. It ain't this. And that's how a lot of you get into these battles and wars and stuff like that. And me, and a couple of my buddies and all of us, we're kind of like in between all of that because we're like using both and we kind of like respectively love both. So it's never really an Android versus iOS thing with us. It's more like I just kind of wish that I had this feature right here. And that's pretty much like where it goes with us. It's not more so like we want to make one the king and one better as far as software goes, and this one is unbeatable, this is untouched, because I see a lot of people with I see a lot of people with a lot of hot takes, and they always want to throw out the best, like that word, and like nothing comes close and nothing is really, just all of that. And it's crazy because like there's always a better option of something out there for somebody. It's always a better option out there for somebody. Whether you as a person decides to not explore that option, then that's on you. A good example is that I've been used to just say like 11-inch iPads for a long time. And I decided to upgrade. Well, I decided to sell my iPad, my 11-inch iPad. Then I bought the 12-inch iPad. Now, I've seen videos and I've seen people talk about how 12.9 is like the best and how it's so great to have all of that screen and the bigger speakers and just so much good about it, right? What they love about it. They talk about what they love about it. And for that, it sparked my interest to be like, maybe I should try this for myself. So I go out and I buy the 12.9 inch, first time ever, and I hate it. Not the iPad, the 12.9-inch screen. I hate it. It's too big for what I want and what I need. So it's not that the product sucks or it's bad. It's not for me because I tried it. We get a lot of people who don't even try something and go off of everybody else's experience of what it is, and then they're like bashing it and they're talking about it. Never even touched it, never even tried the product, never even looked at it. So here we go back and forth with the iOS and the Android battles and versus and back and forth. I had a guy hit me up on my Twitter and say, how can you be enjoying your Pixel with all those bugs and problems that, you know, everyone is having? And that's kind of like exactly how he said it. Like everyone is having. You didn't even ask me if I had issues with mine or are you experiencing issues. He just assumed that everybody who else is talking about bugs and issues on their Pixel, that is universal. And I replied to him like, it's not universally every Pixel that is sold. He's making it seem like every Pixel that Google sold has the same bugs and issues, like every last one of them. And I was like, wow. And it doesn't help that he tweeted from an iPhone. I know how you, I know how you people are with the Twitter 4, but you know, I don't really like, I didn't really come at him because he tweeted from iPhone and said that, but it was just, you know, but I know that's how you guys are a lot, man. When somebody tweet from this and that, you check the source and you're like, oh, that figure, you're a fanboy or whatever. I didn't think of him as no fanboy, but I just thought of him like, you can't be that simple. Like you as a person can't be that simple. You can't universally think that every Pixel is messed up. So now your narrative when you get into conversations with people is Android this, Android that, or Google this, Google that, and that's pretty much down here. Here comes the wars back and forth. So somebody else is trying to defend their experience that they're having a good experience versus you can't be having a good experience because MKBHD said that his is messed up, so that means everybody else is messed up, or whoever else is talking trash back. You know, that's, you know, that has a bigger voice about the Pixel, then that's everybody else's experience and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy though. But again, between the two operating systems, I wouldn't say there is any best at all. Like if I had to try to, if somebody came to me and say what's better, iPhone or iOS and Android OS, I could not truthfully, respectively give them a right answer to that. You know, I would have to use follow-up questions like, what do you want to do on your phone? What do you need to do? How fast you need it done? How long do you plan to keep your phone? What type of support that you need? I would ask so many questions to try to help them figure out which OS will work for them. It's the same thing with Windows and Mac. You know, if somebody came to me literally and said, man, yo, Devon, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? I'm confused, man, because I want to game, right? I want to be like a streamer and I want to game and I want to get a Mac or should I get a Windows? And like, that is almost a cut and dry answer right there, right? If you're going to be a gamer, clearly, you're going to favor towards Windows off the rip for gaming. And at that same time, there's still that small window too, right? So I'll be like, what type of games do you plan on playing? And then he's telling me like Minecraft and Roblox and some Fortnite type stuff. Go get a Mac, I guess. If that's all you plan on getting, or if you're trying to do some hardcore gaming and stuff like that, then I'll, tell them go PC or whatever. Either way, with that type of question, it still can go both ways no matter how you look at it. But everyone knows that, if you're really serious about gaming, the developers are on Windows for gaming. They're not really on Macs for gaming. Not now, at least. Maybe later. So battling of the OSs and stuff like that is just because you like something, just because you love something, just because it's your favorite brand and everybody else is popular and everybody else talking the same thing that you're talking, doesn't mean, man, it doesn't mean that is for them. It doesn't mean that. People get in their head that just because you love something, yeah, I like, at one point, I love Samsung, like their phones. I was with them for a couple of years. I switched to Pixel right now. That's where I'm at now. No matter how much I love my Pixel, I haven't recommended that phone or the Pixel in any of my videos because I'm not that guy. You got to ask me. And if you ask me, I'm going to ask you questions and I'm going to help you figure out if you should get this. And then I'm going to be real with you too. I'm gonna be like, look, man, there's been bugs. A little bit in mine, but not a lot of people, just because we don't really know the numbers of the stats of how many people had issues, but there's known bugs in Pixels. People know. It ain't like we don't know. And I will tell them that first. I will let them know, because if you're going to ask me and you're trying to get a Pixel and I'm having a good experience and I tell you go out here and buy a Pixel, then you're like, man, Delvon recommended me a Pixel and this shit is trash. And I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So before I get to that point, I'm going to tell you, man, buy at your own risk. Buy at your own risk. This is my Pixel experience, and everybody else don't have this same experience that I'm having. They don't share the same experience. Some people are having bugs. Some people are having issues. Some people took theirs back. I would tell them the whole story. I would tell them everything. I would not try to sell them on it. No matter how much I love my Pixel, I would not try to sell them on that product because I love it. I'm not gonna do that. I don't care. I want to make sure that if I'm going to recommend something to you, you need to know everything and the risk factor behind that. And if you do decide to get one, just what I tell a lot of people too that come in my comments, I say, please, man, whatever you do, make sure you have a return window. Do not let it close on you. Test it out. Make sure everything's good. And that's not just like that particular product. That is any product that anybody comes to me and asking me questions about it or whatever. Because I would tell people the bad and the good about my experiences, but I would not try to really sell them on it. But if that helps, if my information that I give them helps them make a buying decision, that's fine. It's all good, because people want to hear from people that's going to be honest. And, then there's those people who just a fucking ad. I tell y'all this all the time. Instead of me calling people fanboys, I'm just calling their asses ads, because they would just try to fucking sell you on, whatever device or phone or OS that they prefer the most, and just make it sound so good like you ain't never had an issue in your life on that software. Never. So I've been dealing with Apple and Samsung and Google and Windows and Mac OS and some TV software, Web OS and all this bullshit. I have had problems on everything. So when it comes to like the OSs, Android versus iOS or whatever like that, it's not really a complicated situation. It's just that when people bias gets in the way of, the conversations, that's where it becomes a battle, because you somehow in your brain want your company to your company. It's not even your company, but the company that you love, you want it to be better than the competition. And me, for instance, I love competition. I want competition to happen. I want somebody to play on Samsung's level. I want somebody to play on Apple's level. Excuse me again. I want somebody to play on Google's level, because the things that Google have, like I'll say like real tone, why would I not want software features like that in everything else? Like, why would you be mad if that was, if some company has it and people are showing it and, it's kicking your brand's ass right now, and you're like, well, I like the colors on this one over here better, blah, blah, blah. And the dude looking like a Oompa Loompa, or somebody looking like a peach based off, not a peach, a pink Barbie or something. I don't know, pink something based off Samsung colors that they do with, our skin or whatever like that. But just features like that alone. And then like stuff like what Samsung got with Dex, which is really, amazing. Why would you not want that? I guess stuff like on iOS, iMessage, well, that's just really an app. But, I feel like it's pretty simple. And that's what I like about it, is that it's already pre-installed and everybody who has an iPhone is using it. And then when it comes to the Android side of things, it's like we're now getting to that point where Android message is going to be installed for the future of all devices now, and they're trying to get that. So, why would we not want a iMessage FaceTime competitor on this side? And why would we not want True Tone over here? Why would we not want Dex on some of our tablets and stuff like that? It don't have to be Dex, but Stage Manager, I don't care what you say right now. I don't really have too many thoughts on that right now currently, but it ain't Dex from what I see. I watched a lot of videos. I was excited to have that on my iPad, but I'm not now. Now, with Apple, like I say all the time, it's a slow burn with them. So Stage Manager may be amazing in 4 or 5 years, knowing Apple's track record of doing things. So I'm not going to write it off and say anything fully negative about it right now, because I haven't used it for myself yet. But I am no longer impressed when I seen it. When I seen it, I was like, oh yes, this is what I was waiting on, right? I was waiting. And then when I seen how they did it in function, I was like, and then I started watching YouTube videos of YouTubers using it, who put the beta up there, which I'm not doing the beta on my iPad. And I was just like, that's it. That's it. Okay. I guess we just have to wait. And that's it. That's my only thought about it. I guess we just have to wait. This is alpha stage, and we just gotta wait. Well, at least for me. You may be 100% satisfied if I use for it, but I can't see myself using that. I barely even use Dex a lot, so I can't even see myself just using that to plug it up to use multiple windows. And Dex is a little bit, it feels more like home, a computer. I got a file system to work with. I got, I can use my tablet and the Widget at the same time and not have some Stage Manager thing on both, and then just put windows up and stuff like that. That's having multiple windows bruh, I'm off it. All right. So, back to the Android versus iOS. Again, there's not one best. I'm sorry if I, clickbait you into this title or whatever in the beginning or whatever. But yeah, I doubt it. That some of you are upset anyway. Some of you probably feel like relate to what I'm saying, and some of you probably like, yeah, fuck this dude or whatever like that. iOS is the best, and that's fine, man. I mean, I'm not here to argue about what you think is the best and everything like that. I'm not even trying to convince you. If that's what you want to think, then just keep that shit to yourself and don't talk to me about it, because I don't engage in those conversations about somebody just outright saying something such as the best or whatever like that. I'm more of a well-rounded person where I believe that what works the best for people is whatever caters to their needs the most. And that may not be iOS, and that may not be Android. Hell, I think if Windows really had a strong phone on the market, I think somebody would be on Windows right now, and probably are on Windows. But even a lot of Windows phones have Android up there now. But it really all depends on the person and their needs with technology, and we just gotta recognize that sometimes, man, and keep it 100. Just like keep it real, man. Like software can be buggy, software can be flawless, software can have minor bugs, software can have a lot of bugs, software can lag, phones can reboot, phones can not turn on. I had my cousin, her iPhone 12, just out of nowhere, she said she was on a TikTok, and she said that her phone just completely just shut off on her in school, and she called me up immediately because I'm the tech guy, right, and brought me an iPhone. I did every measure I can to get that phone to come back on, and I kept asking her, "Did your battery die?" She was like, "No, I had plenty of battery." I was like, "Oh," and I did the whole reset feature, the hard reset, the combination to hold the buttons on. I did everything I could, and I couldn't fix it, and I was like, I feel defeated. So then she takes the phone. Her mom takes the phone, takes the phone to the Apple store, and they couldn't figure out what happened. It was done. So I believe right now she's in the process of getting it replaced. But you know, that's what happened to her iPhone 12. Like literally just boop, blacked out on her, and couldn't figure it out. But again, software, Android, iOS, none of that shit is perfect, bro. None of it. That shit like that can happen all the time. And we just got to keep it 100 about the situations that we have, you know, like when I got bugs on something, I try to be very vocal about it to let you know that this is what happens to me, this is what happened. But I don't want nobody to take it as in like it's universally happening to like everybody else in the world or whatever like that. This just like happened to be my tablet. Maybe I did something, maybe I got a road app, maybe I changed the habit of the way I use it. Maybe I don't know. It could have been a lot of variations, but you just can't expect the software to be perfect. So between this iOS versus Android, the best to me is the best that works for you. Period. So that's all I got to say today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, whether you're listening in or whether you're watching. I appreciate you. And please forgive me for all the and all of that. Shit happens, right? Software. But anyways, Devon Digital, out.